We are about to cross Egypt's most astonishing works and break them down in order to appreciate the magnitude of their talent. What each site is, how big it is, and how it was built without modern machines. The skill on display is the story. This is Nature versus Infrastructure, Ancient Megastructures, Part 1 of 4, The Mysteries of Egypt. Before we start, a quick reminder. The giveaway for the first 1,000 subscribers is open, with details in the description and the pinned comment. So please like the video and subscribe to follow the series and be in with a chance to win the first giveaway on the channel. Your continued support is very much appreciated. First stop is the Great Pyramid in Giza. It was built about 4,500 years ago for a king of the 4th dynasty as a royal monument. Each side of the base is about 230 metres. The original height reached about 147 metres. The outer skin once shone with fine white limestone. Each side faces true north, south, east and west with near perfect precision. Inside, a long passage climbs to granite rooms designed to resist crushing weight. Above those rooms are layered spaces that spread the load and keep the chambers safe. Modern scans found a large hidden void above the rising passage. The core still holds secrets. The scale is not magic, the scale is organisation. Boats moved limestone along canals to the plateau. Crews pulled blocks on wooden sledges. A little water on sand stiffened the grains and lowered friction so the sledge could glide. Ramps and staging ledges lifted stone in steady steps. Surveyors used stars to fix north and a water trench to set a perfect level. Blocks were set in courses that climbed like a staircase of patience. People later claimed alien help or lost machines. The ground shows quarries, harbours, tool marks, red crew names on hidden blocks, and a foreman's diary that reads like a delivery schedule. This monument is a human achievement, built with simple tools, planning, and time. The Sphinx is the largest statue on the plateau, and it is part of the bedrock itself. It measures about 73 metres from paws to tail and stands about 20 metres high. It looks to the morning sun and sits at the line where green land ends and open desert begins. The enclosure is a working yard. The trench supplied building stone for the temples beside it. The crew carved the statue where it stood and moved the trench blocks on short sledges to the setting site. They carved this incredible statue using copper chisels for edges, stone hammers for bulk removal, and sand with water for smoothing and dressing. The rock tells its own story. Harder layers keep fine detail near the head. Softer layers wear quickly along the body. In shaded corners, original tool marks hold on. Across the flanks and the paws, patch stones show how teams returned again and again to secure weak beds. Traces of pigment show that the surface was once coloured, which adds another layer of craft beyond the cutting. Based on carving rates with period tools, it's estimated a crew of about 100 workers could complete a statue of this scale in roughly 3 years, with tools constantly resharpened and teams rotated through cooler shifts. The work would pause during peak heat and surge when river transport, food supply and labour were at their strongest. This is a guardian made from the hill it guards. The amazement sits in the decision to use one piece of earth to create both a statue and the stone for its own temples, and in the persistence it takes to keep the whole complex alive through centuries of repair. This is the first huge stone complex in Egypt. An early ruler named Djoser ordered it, and a master builder named Imhotep planned it. One line is enough. Djoser is the king who wanted permanence. Imhotep is the mind that organised it. The pyramid rises in 6 steps to roughly 60 to 62 metres, on a base about 109 by 121 metres. The whole site sits inside a niched limestone wall about 544 by 277 metres. There is one real entrance. It leads through a long colonnade into open courts designed for royal festivals. What looks like a single monument is actually a planned city of stone. Shrine facades line the edges. Dummy buildings fix the ceremonial layout even when no one lives inside them. The scale and the order turn the space into a stage. Below the surface, a deep central shaft drops about 28 metres. From that shaft runs a network of corridors and rooms that spreads for kilometres under the complex. Storage spaces, family burials, and ritual chambers sit in the cool bedrock. Some chambers are lined with blue glazed tiles made to look like reed mats, a palace style recreated in materials that survive underground. Saqqara proves the state could control access, route people through architecture, hold supplies, and run ceremonies inside a single, unified plan. This is where building in stone stops being an experiment and becomes a system that the whole country can use. At Dahshur, the bent pyramid starts steep and then eases back higher up. The shift drops the stress on the upper courses and protects the core. The height is a little over 100 metres. Each side of the base is just under 190 metres long. The preserved casing at the foot shows how smooth and bright these faces once were. Inside, long ceilings use overlapping stone layers that step inward. The shape moves weight away from the chamber and into the walls. The solution is careful and conservative. It turns risk into control. Nearby, the Red Pyramid applies the safer angle from the very first course. Its height is about 105 metres. Each side of the base is about 220 metres. The silhouette is calm from ground to peak. Masonry lines run with an even rhythm. The interior repeats the stepped roofs with more confidence and more space overhead. Dahshur records a live fix and a final answer in one landscape. One structure shows the correction, the other shows the standard that later builders follow. The path from bold experiment to reliable method is written into these stones. The Hypostyle Hall at Karnak uses light and load as design tools. A stone roof once spanned this forest on 134 columns set in 16 rows. The central giants rise over 20 metres and lift high windows that wash the hall with daylight. Carved scenes wrap every shaft. Bands of figures and signs move up the stone, so the messages climb with the architecture. The tops of the columns, called capitals, flare wide to spread weight and catch the roof blocks above. In the centre, the capitals stand taller and open the clerestory windows. At the edges, shorter columns keep the side aisles in shade so the air stays cool and still. Light becomes part of the plan. Beams drop through the high windows and drift across carvings as the sun moves. The bright central route leads forward, while the darker edges hold side stories in relief panels. Scale does the heavy lifting. Column drums are as large as small cars. The capitals open like stone flowers to carry the roof. Voices fall quiet without any command. The space guides a crowd with height, repetition, and moving light. The message is scale and order, shown with stone. These signs are a system. They read in ordered lines. Figures face the way the words flow. A royal name sits inside an oval called a cartouche, so you can spot power at a glance. Under the paint there is order. Artists scored a light grid to fix proportions, so a figure on this wall matches a figure painted years later by a different team. Clarity stays the same across generations. Pigments come from ground minerals that keep their colour in dry air. Reds and yellows from ochre, green from malachite, black from carbon, white from gypsum. A famous blue was made in workshops by heating sand, copper and lime into a new crystal that still glows under light. The process is exact. Draw the plan in red, correct in black, carve a line where needed, lay colour in flat fields so the story reads cleanly from the floor. Scenes carry both belief and daily life. A priest pours water in a ritual, a boat crew sets a sail, a tally clerk writes numbers beside bread and beer. Pottery shards used as notepads, called ostraka, hold quick sketches and lists. The effect is clarity and awe at once. A visitor can stand at floor level and still read the plan of the world above. The craft is disciplined, repeatable and beautiful, which is why these walls still speak so clearly now. This is a royal temple set into a cliff like a stage. 3 broad terraces rise in clean steps. A central ramp ties ground to mountain. Sightlines are deliberate. From the river approach, the horizon is a flat bar. As you climb, the cliff rises behind the colonnades and fills the frame. The last terrace meets rock so closely that the mountain feels like a back wall to the stage. A powerful ruler of the new kingdom chose this site to speak with architecture. The mountain becomes part of the building. The building becomes part of the mountain. Colonnades repeat like a rhythm section. Columns throw long, even bands of shade that drift with the sun. The central line stays bright to pull you forward. Side aisles cool down and quiet the air. The terraces widen the view in steps so every level feels open, then focused again. Processions read left to right across the reliefs. Offerings climb terrace by terrace. The geometry never breaks. On the walls, a sea voyage unfolds in clear panels. Ships cut through carved waves. Trees ride home in tubs with their roots bound. Resins, gold and rare goods march in careful lines. Colour once covered these surfaces. Traces of paint still sit in sheltered cuts. Flags would have moved on the terraces. Incense smoke would have lifted along the ramp. Sound turns to a soft echo that rides the cliff and then falls away. Nothing here looks forced. The plan fits the land, and the land answers the plan. That fit is the impressive part. The place carries the weight of ceremony and still looks effortless. Perhaps the most impressive feat of care and craft from the Egyptians is mummification. This is precision work, built to last for thousands of years. The body is washed with Nile water. The brain pulled through the nose with a hooked tool. The chest opens and the organs are treated and protected in 4 jars which are placed beside the coffin. Natron, a desert salt, dries the body on a measured schedule of about 40 days. Resin seals the surface, so air and moisture cannot get in. Linen wraps in many layers. Amulets rest between the bands for protection where it matters most. The heart often stays in place because it holds memory and character in Egyptian belief. What sounds like ritual is also engineering. Drying removes the water that would feed decay. Resin closes every gap. Linen builds a strong casing that keeps the shape. In Egypt's dry air, the result holds for more than 3,000 years, which is why skin, hair, and even fine details can still be seen today in many cases. These methods turn a fragile body into a designed object that endures beside the stone monuments outside. The care, timing, and control are the miracle. The people who did this understood material, climate, and process so well that their work still meets our eyes across millennia. Everything in this film was built by hand. Multi-ton blocks, millimetre-tight alignments, repeated forms that run for hundreds of metres, colour that still holds after thousands of years. The system is clear: move stone by river, lift with teams in rhythm, align with the sky, measure with water, repeat until the horizon changes shape. This is national-scale project management long before engines. The result is a skyline that still commands huge respect for these jaw-dropping human achievements. If you enjoyed this episode, please like the video and subscribe so you don't miss part 2, where we will be covering some of the most jaw-dropping feats of engineering from China. Thank you for watching.